watching the Scottish Football Zone with all the build-up and reactions.
There we go. Good evening, guys. Good evening. Welcome to the Scottish Football Zone. And I can't believe I'm saying this. This is the second last show of the year as well. And this is the last round of games before we go away to get merry and all that kind of thing, as they do in New Year. So we have got three wise. Well, I was going to say we've got three wise men, and they're all going out tonight, as usual. But I don't care. Boo-hoo. So we're joined by Ethan, Robbie, and Reagan. I've not saw Reagan for at least maybe 2 hours, I think. We were at a secret pub in Glasgow as well. But don't worry, I'm sober, but I'm not sure about Reagan. So we'll try and so we've got a top team tonight. So that means a lot of games to talk about, guys. We've got the game at Ibrox between Rangers and St Mirren. We've got the game at Fir Park between Murrow and Celtic. That's at 8 o'clock kickoff. Hibs and Aberdeen, Livingston and Dundee United, and Dundee and Kilmarnock. Before we dive into the game that I don't know if you saw, guys, but it's the worst kept secret ever. Stuart Kettlewell is back at Ross County until the end of the season. Ethan's laughing, so he must have saw that news.
Yes, I did see that, and I think it's one that opened itself up, obviously, with him being relieved of his duties at Kilmarnock, Tony Docherty obviously being relieved of his duties at Ross County around the same period. It would have made sense for Kettlewell to go back for what is now his third spell at Ross County, and obviously he's done well there in the past. He's someone that the ownership trust. And rightfully so, because they're in a really difficult situation they need to get out of. They need to make sure that they, at the very least, stay in the Championship this season, because although I think a lot of us tipped them to be up there with St Johnstone, it's been anything but that, and they'll be lucky to stay in the Championship. So that's got to be the priority at the moment, and they feel Kettlewell's the right man to come in and ensure that, which is fair enough. But he's obviously had a difficult run in the last two jobs. You could say maybe hounded out at Motherwell with some of the abuse his family faced, and then obviously Kilmarnock relieved his duties on that terrible run, which we're still on, and they'll be looking to change tonight at Dens Park.
Robbie, a lot of good games tonight. I take it you'll be focused on the game at Ibrox between Rangers and the League Cup winners of the year, St Mirren, and so a lot of big games to look forward to as well.
Aye, it's a really stacked Premiership card. I have a sneaky feeling, Michael, that if Livingston fail to pick up anything against Dundee United, we could be talking about another sacking, potentially. It's only so long until I think you've got to sack Devin Martindale at Livingston. But aye, of course, my attention's at Ibrox, and St Mirren obviously 4 games unbeaten against Rangers, looking to try and make that 5 against a team that they're no excellent, they're no stacked with quality. It's not a Rangers team that I look at with fear. I don't go to Ibrox with fear. I expect us to go there and get it on. I think we've got a good chance to make it 5 games unbeaten against them.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, Michael, just to say as well, sorry to the Hamilton Accies fans. It looks like some of their players are actually gone on strike. The news we got was the director told the players that they won't be paid tomorrow, and it looks like the players are going to be on strike. So it looks like things are sort of coming to a sorrow end for Hamilton.
Yeah, I think they'll actually taking a leaf out of Michael's book, because I don't think he's paid us for about a year.
Yeah, no, exactly.
He bought me a beer earlier, but that's the first thing he's put his pocket.
Non-alcoholic beer, I must say, because Reagan's on the show. But yeah. Well, I think it was an apple juice. I'm not actually sure. Anyway, before we talk about the other games as well, let's go to Robbie first with team news at Ibrox between Rangers and St Mirren. It's a 8:15 kickoff there.
Yeah, so for Rangers, it is Jack Butland in goal, James Tavernier right back, two centre backs, Emmanuel Fernandez and John Souttar comes back in to start. Jadon Magoma is at left back. In the midfield, it is Mohamed Diomande, Nico Rafkin, and Melo Asgard. And up front, it is Gassama, Mikey Moore, and Chamiti for St Mirren. One change from the 0-0 draw at Kilmarnock. Even though Robinson did threaten to make a few more after the game, I thought it was a bit of a stagnant display for St Mirren, but has only stuck with one change. So it's Jordan goals, a back three, Fraser, Freckleton and King. Two wing backs of Declan John and Jerry Richardson. Sorry, my apologies. Two changes. Richardson comes in for Conor McMenamin as well. In the midfield, it's Killian Phillips, Alex Gogic and Roland Adover. And your front two is Jonah Ayunga and Mikael Mandron.
There you go. And before we nip over to Fir Park, because if by magic Ethan is sitting at Fir Park now, getting the team news. Robbie was at the game on Saturday between St Mirren and Kilmarnock. It was a brilliant game to watch. Finish 0-0. So he spoke to a few players after the game, and he spoke to Alex Gogic after the game, and this is what he had to say.
In terms of the last couple of weeks, you found yourself moving back into the midfield. How have you found that, adjusted back into there?
It's fine. It's fine. I've been enjoying it, to be fair. I think 2 years ago I didn't want to play centre back, and then when I accepted it, I actually enjoyed it. And so now I'm just enjoying the moment, being back in the midfield and trying to do the best for the team.
Gogic as well, there's 3 clean sheets in the league in a row now, and that's got to be a lot of confidence going forward. There maybe was that sticky patch where there was a few goals being shipped in, but it seems to have really stable the ship in there. Yes,
it's very important. I think if you end up with a clean sheet, you're definitely going away at least 1 point. So I think when we, like you said, that sticky patch that we had, we said as well as the back 4 or 5, the midfield, try and be strong, solid in front of the defense, in front of our goal, and try and keep that clean sheet. And our strikers will do the rest, and our wing back. So, like you said, it was very important to get the 3 clean sheets in a row.
You've been over the course before, so it only takes a few results really to change it and catapult yourself back up.
Yeah, correct. Especially in this league, if you can win three games in a row, you're straight back in the mix. So we're not far off it. We just got to continue and look forward.
And there you go, that was Alex Gogic speaking.
No, Michael is gone.
I'm sure he'll be back in a minute.
Aye. No, it was nice to speak to Gogic, and obviously he's has had to readjust back into that position where he was probably most notably playing at Hamilton. Never really seen that at St Mirren, to be honest. It was sort of signed to come in at centre back, and he's adapted into it well, and I'm sure he'll be relishing nights like the night at Ibrox, because you see it against, when he played against Celtic in the League Cup final, he relished that. He sort of flung himself about. He wasn't scared to get into a challenge. I think that's what you need in a night like tonight. So I think he'll enjoy
it. Let's go over to Fir Park for the team news. I say let's go over to Fir Park. I'm building up as though Ethan's already there. He's sitting in his house nice and warm, because maybe Fir Park will be freezing tonight. But Ethan's got the team news. Motherwell Celtic.
Yeah, I think it's 3 changes for Motherwell. One of them being forced. Stephen Welsh drops out, obviously, as a Celtic loanee. And I think that the news I seen today was that Celtic are happy for Stephen Welsh to stay there until the end of the season. He's been a big player there. But the in goals for Motherwell's the ever-present Callum Ward. The back 4, I'm not sure who the 4th defender is going to be completely, but I know it'll be Johnny Contribus, Paul McGinn, the captain. Stephen O'Donnell comes in, and I'm guessing it's going to be Tom Sparrow to make up the back 4. Then in midfield, you've got Lucas Fadinga, Elliot Watt, Oscar Priestman, who's another one of the players that comes in, along with Callum Slattery, and then Elijah Just and Ibrahim Said. That's the Motherwell team. And then for Celtic, I believe they've made 3 changes.
That'll be good to hear the
3 changes from the team that beat Livingston the other day. 4 changes actually. Sorry, Kasper Schmeichel comes back in for Vuljami Sinisalo. The back three looks like it's going to be Anthony Ralston, Austin Trusty, and Liam Scales. Kieran Tierney will take the place of Luke McCowan at left wing back on the left side. Yang still at right side. Callum McGregor partnering Paulo Bernardo, who comes in for Arnie Engels in midfield. Ray Otati comes in for Johnny Kenny alongside Benjamin Nigren, and Dyson Maeda is pushed up top. So Johnny Kenny taken out of the firing line, you could say, after the chances he's missed. And it looks like Dyson Maeda or possibly Benjamin Nigren. I've seen a lot of Celtic fans calling for him to maybe get the chance up front. Already scored 10 goals this season. So interesting team news from both managers.
See, in terms of that, Ethan, I was at the game on Saturday for the College Football Zone, and I felt like Tony Ralston was a bit of a weak link. I felt like possibly he could have played and maybe Donovan. I don't know what you think, but I just
I think
that could have been.
Quite possibly. I think Kobe Donovan's looked okay at times when he's come into Wilfred Nancy's set-up, but then again, he goes with experience. Anthony Ralston. It's obviously a position Celtic are wanting to strengthen in the January transfer window. I think it's believed that Wilfred Nancy wants a right-sided centre-back, a right-back, a right winger. So he sees that as the weaker side of the pitch. And I think you've seen that in the game so far. Celtic have looked a lot stronger going down the left. And maybe if that's because of Kieran Tierney and the role he plays. Is I think the other day, if you've seen the stat, he had, I think, over 30 more touches than any other Celtic player, which is a lot, especially for a left-sided central defender. I think he'll be moved on this evening with Liam Scales probably taking up the left centre-back role. But yeah, it's not very rigid. I think that they'll be interchanging, but I think he's been one of the best players, one of the biggest beneficiaries under Wilfred Nancy, I would say, and he's getting back to maybe some of his best football we've seen from him.
Sorry, so you saying Scales is playing?
Yeah, Scales is playing, yeah.
It's been quite interesting because I think Scales has been a big miss the last few matches. I don't know if you agree, but I just think sometimes a lot of the time Tony Ralston's been going back to the goalkeeper, and sometimes when Scales drives through midfield, it makes this squad go on further up the pitch as well, to be honest with you, because I feel like sometimes if Ralston's going as a crack, it's sort of the kind of safe ball, if you would say that, Ethan.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think I talk about some of the major players that benefited off of Wilfred Nancy's style of play, and they look like they're really maybe making a career for themselves. Obviously, Kieran Tierney, I think, are always going to have a career at Celtic, but I'm thinking of players more like Yang. I think it's really played probably his best stuff since coming to Celtic, and that wouldn't be a very high bar. But I think Liam Scales is probably one of the ones who's had the negative impact where he doesn't really fit into the system as well. From what we've seen, obviously against St Mirren in the League Cup final, he was playing left centre back and he was popping up at left wing at times. And I think people have called for natural centre backs to be the left and right centre back of the back three, but the back three almost plays as the wide ones are almost full backs anyway. So you need players that can go up and create and put crosses into the box like Kieran Tierney's been so good at. But interesting from both teams. Obviously, Motherwell, Stephen Welsh will be a big miss as well for them, because I've heard he's one of their key players at the minute.
Is Mashwood playing?
No, he's at AFCON.
Yeah, Zimbabwe have been knocked out, but
I think the talk that I heard yesterday was that he could potentially be playing because they got knocked out.
I think he'll be. On you go, Robbie. Sorry.
No, just to say, I'm going to assume that'll be probably travelling issues. Why he's probably not on the squad. He's probably still trying to work his way back to getting home. So I'd imagine that's why he's probably not made the team. But I still think Motherwell have a lot of good attacking threat. Ibrahim Said, Elijah Just, obviously two standout players. But I was just going to touch on, Ethan, you mentioned about that left-hand side, and that's where I thought during the League Cup final, most of Celtic's success in the first half came down that side with Tierney and Scales. It is so interesting. I'm excited to see how that dynamic works, because I don't know if you guys watch Republic of Ireland much, but the last couple of games, Scales has done really well in that wing back for Ireland. He's done really well on that side. So I wonder if it maybe is going to be, even as you suggested, that sort of rotation between the two in that wing back role, when you might see Scales go forward sometimes, Tierney maybe tail back a bit, and then the opposite, because I think that can be a really, really useful weapon for Celtic.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and I think it's something we see even when Luke McCowan was sort of playing that role. He was pretty much playing as an inside midfielder, left side midfielder, Luke McCowan. So people were saying about, oh, he can't play at wing back and whatever. I don't think Wilfred Nancy's asking him to do too much of what he can't do, and the same for those two players. I think that the problem comes with Celtic fans and why they complain about Liam Scales maybe playing the left wing back role is that for Republic of Ireland, he's not expected to play a team where they're going to have, on most occasions, aim to have, 70, 60, 80% of the ball. And obviously you see that, especially when Celtic are playing domestically. And I think that's it. The problem is that he's not good enough. He's good on, I would say he's good on the ball for a central defender, but he's not good enough on the ball to be sort of going up and down that left flank. But I think he'll be okay tonight. It'll be an interesting dynamic, but I think there'll be goals for both teams, because although Motherwell have went on that ridiculous run before they conceded to Rangers, 10 hours of football without conceding a goal, a remarkable run. I think Celtic's attack has shown in the last few games that they're going to have too much. But on the other side of the coin, I think Celtic can't defend with the current players they've got in the setup now, especially the defensive ones. So I think there'll be chances for Motherwell, and I think both teams will score. If I have to give away my prediction early,
You go.
no, I was just I'm going for a 2 each draw. That's my prediction.
I'm actually going to say Motherwell 2, Celtic 3.
Oh, same as the reverse at Celtic Park could be. I think there'll be goals anyway.
It's like a goal.
I'm actually going to go for a Benjamin Nygren hat trick.
Oh.
He's a good player. You know what? I think Benji's one of the guys that are really overly criticised by Celtic fans. I think he's a fantastic player. I've genuinely said that as well since the first game of the season against us at Celtic Park. I thought I could see the quality straight away with him. And I think it's a player that Nancy really likes to use. But I think you're right. This almost is given like a FIFA Street type of game. It goes written away.
FIFA Street was brilliant back in the day. I remember we used to play all the different tricks and all that. It used to be.
Just before I give my prediction, I'm happy to run through the other 3 games in the team sheets if you want. I've got them on hand. At Dens Park for Dundee, it's McCracken goal, a back 4, Astley, Graham, Kumeto and Wright, Hamilton, Danda and Jones in the midfield, and the front 3 is Yogani, Riley and Hay. For Kilmarnock, in which you've got to say is probably, if you're going to stop this rot of 12 games without a win, it's going to be tonight. They went with all I can never say this goalkeeper's name, all your Mary and goals. It's a back 4. Yeah, aye. Back 4, Thompson, Schleet, Brown, Mayo and Brown. Watson, Lowry and Lyons in the midfield, and your front 3 is John Jules, Greg Kilty and Anderson. So no too many changes for the 0-0 draw at St. Hibs Aberdeen, which is another pretty interesting game. Obviously Hibs off the back of that amazing derby win. It's Salinger and goals, a back 3, O'Hara, Hanley and Iredale, Megwa and it'll probably be McGrath as the 2 wing backs, Mulligan, Ball, Lazar and Campbell in the midfield, and Boyle and Cleege up front. For Aberdeen, it is Mitov and goals, a back 3, Noster, Milne and Devlin, Gamafi and Jensen, the 2 wing backs, Karlsson and Uchiche in the midfield, with Carlson and Armstrong sitting in behind Lazetic. And at Livingston, it is Pryor and goals, a back 4 of Finlayson, McGowan, Wilson and Montano, Pittman, Cilia and Tate in the midfield, with Smith, May either side of Bokila. And for Dundee United, it is Richards and goals, a back 3 of Carestes, Esselink and Seal Harding. It is Ferry and Namo, the 2 wing backs, Sibbald, Stevenson in the midfield, with Sapsord and Trapanovsky either side of Sturton. Some of the names are absolutely ridiculous to say, but that is the team news. And for Celtic, I am going to go Motherwell 3, Celtic 1. That's my prediction.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry, just to jump in there, I think maybe the notable team news of the night across the board is Kieran Bowie nowhere to be seen in the Hibs squad. I know Nicky Cadden drops out as well, but he obviously came off with injury in the first half. We knew about that.
of the potentially linked to Wolves.
It might be. It might be.
I didn't see that. I don't know if you seen the Michael, but
No.
Bobby's but I think Bobby's potentially going to go down to England.
If I was Bowie, I'd wait a couple of years. I don't think it's the right move right now. But he's going to be getting some amount of money to go down and play in the Premier League, isn't he? So I mean, why would you not take it? But
I don't think they'll be in the Premier League for long. They're never going.
No,
I think they'll get 2. Is it 2 points?
Yeah.
Then absolutely terrible right now. But would you maybe argue if you're Bowie, then go down and try and save the day? Even if you do go into the Championship, try and get them back up and be a part of that. But I mean, look, for me, I must have rumoured 5 million. I think it is Wolves are willing to pay for Bowie. I could only imagine the wage bill that they're happy to give Bowie compared to what he'll be getting up here. So, if he is going to go down, then best of luck to him. I hope he does well.
I have a feeling that's maybe not why he's missing tonight. I feel like that it's just a guess, but I think it might be too early. The transfer window's not even started yet. But Wolves do really need to get their finger out, though. In all fairness, they do need to bring in probably a new whole squad of players to save them.
Because I've seen the Man City sign that guy for Bournemouth today, basically.
People are making signings early. Livingston have already got 2 pre-arranged for January. The window.
And I think Hearts as well. Yeah.
Dylan's got a new signing. Michael's leaving the show. He's deciding.
Yeah. I'm leaving, and Bosman's coming in. He's a nice guy, Bosman.
I'm sure we wouldn't be able to afford Jim Dillon or any of those guys to come in the hot seat, Michael, would we?
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah.
Too expensive.
Yeah, well, you might have to pull Jim Dillon away from air races to come back on the show, but yeah. So no, it was nice to have Jim on a few weeks ago. I think we had him on after a Celtic game. I think it was the Europa League game. Going back to the game at Fir Park, and we will go back to the game at Ibrox, because in case Robbie's annoyed at us not talking about that game as well. But I think it will be a high scoring game tonight, even. But Celtic were kind of like too open the other day. I mean, middle to front, it was like, yeah, okay, but at the back, they need to shut the back door.
Yeah, I'd completely agree with that, and I think he maybe needs. I think what he needs is he needs his players in that he wants, but he needs to do the business with what he's got at the minute, like Martin O'Neill done. And obviously he's got to put the opening 4 games behind him. It looks like maybe the players and himself included have done, but I doubt the fans probably have, with the importance of some of those matches. But a game like this against one of the best teams in the league this season, on their own patch, and then Rangers coming to Celtic Park is a perfect opportunity for him to take 6 points and really get more Celtic fans on board with what he's trying to do. And I mean, it's a long way back. I think we said that from the start, but all he can do is get results, and he needs to improve Celtic defensively, certainly. But I think I said this the other day when I was briefly on the show. The aim of the game is to outscore your opponents, and as long as Celtic are doing that, then I don't think anyone will complain. Obviously, the worrying thing is when you go to that next level, especially in European football, there's teams that will just punish any chance you give up, and Celtic are giving too many up at the minute, and that's why I think Motherwell will get a couple of goals tonight, although I don't think Motherwell will be able to keep the back door shut either, although Motherwell have probably struggled for goals more than they would like recently. I think it's 4 in the last 5 games, maybe. They've been keeping the back door shut, but they've been struggling to find the goals, maybe down to somewhat Commander Massarise being away at AFCON, although I think he will probably be back for the weekend, as he scored yesterday. I think it was yesterday, scored a really nice goal, but Zimbabwe crashed out anyway. So, yeah, there's a lot of the games are really exciting, a lot of storylines. The only one that I would say is maybe the least exciting, but then again, Robbie makes a very good point of it, is Livingston Dundee United, 2 teams that aren't really close to each other on the table, Livingston need points, and I think they might get something tonight. I don't know why. They've got to get something at some point, and I think tonight might be the night for them.
Reagan, just going by the highlights on Saturday at Ibrox as well, it's going to be a very open game tonight because if Motherwell took their chances, they should have won that game about 2 or 3-0.
Yeah, especially in the first half. I mean, I think it was Derek Johnson that even said in the Rangers half-time thing that Rangers struggled to touch the ball in the first 15 minutes. I've never seen a Rangers team Ibrox not being able to touch the ball in the first 15 minutes. So it was a bit strange, because I think for Celtic and Rangers, you actually expect Celtic and Rangers to dominate possession, create chances, but fair play to Motherwell, they caused a lot of Rangers fans to get really upset. So, I mean, that chance that Just has right in front of the goal, and then you've got, I think it's
Henry.
Yeah. I mean, he probably should have scored as well. I mean, I think if you're Motherwell, you've got to say that if you can keep that back door shut. But as well, Celtic are playing a kind of open game, so I think both teams will. Not that I'm saying this match will suit both teams, but I think both teams will quite enjoy it. I don't think we'll enjoy it as paid customers or people actually watching the match. I don't think I think I'll be having a heart attack during it, but I think it'll be a great game to watch.
Don't forget, we'll be asking you at 10 o'clock on the show about what's your favourite best moment of the 2025. And
I already told you that yesterday, Michael. The best moment of 2025 is me and you guys. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
The best moment.
He says up there.
I know. I did think that the best moment for you was because I bought you a pint today. I've never bought anyone a pint in my life, so thank you to my back manager for that one as well. And Robbie's best moment was, well, you can maybe guess what Robbie's best moment was. I'm going to say Scotland qualifying for the World Cup, Robbie? Maybe not.
It's up there.
Yeah. As for the game at Ibrox tonight, what are you kind of like expecting? I mean, you must be confident because Rangers are winning games, but they're not playing very well. And also, against Motherwell were the better team. So, you could be in for a shout tonight.
Michael, I think it's more than that. I'm not particularly worried. There's been many times since we get promoted in 2018 where you play Celtic and Rangers, and the terms commonly used, you take what you can get, and it's a free hit and all that sort of stuff against Rangers and Celtic. But it's more points on the board as far as I'm concerned. I want us to go to Ibrox. I want us to try and take at least a point, try and get free. And that's me trying not to sound over convinced, but we're unbeaten in 4. Why should we not be feeling like that? We went to Ibrox the last time and won 2-0, so there's no reason why we shouldn't have gone to Ibrox thinking we can go and get a win. What I will say is John Souttar being back in the Rangers team's a huge boost to them. He is the best defender in my opinion. I didn't notice against Motherwell on Saturdays that he has lost a bit of weight. I wonder if that's just been the injury and all that sort of stuff, but I didn't notice he's looking a bit lighter. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays tonight. But no, look, Michael, I'm just confident. I really am. I believe we can go and win.
I think the fact that a lot of these players played with St Mirren when they beat Rangers at Ibrox 12 months ago, that's going to get a lot of the players sort of boost.
Aye, and not to mention we've kept 3 clean sheets at the last 4 games, so the players are doing really well defensively. I don't see Rangers being able to break us down. To be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of that attack. I don't, Chamiti's prime example. I don't feel any threat coming up against Chamiti. Saying that now, he's going to probably bag a hat trick and probably win. What? Well worth the £8 million. No, hopefully I'm not on the show at 10 o'clock eating humble pie again, but I don't, Michael, to be honest with you, I don't fear Rangers, and I don't think the players will either. The last few weeks have been a big boost for 5 games unbeaten now. I think we'll go and continue that.
Robbie, I think you're just going to drink this. You're saying you don't fear Rangers, and you're going to give me the fear here.
No, but there's no reason why we should. But there's no reason to take the Rangers.
What I will say about both Rangers and St Mirren, obviously the opponents for the opposition going up against each other tonight. Rangers at the weekend, although Motherwell were good, really good to start the game, had some chances, could have easily had a penalty. I think Rangers created a lot themselves and probably could have scored easily more than one on another day. Although that maybe goes down to the strikers we're talking about when they've spent $8 million on Chermiti and Bojan Miovski, who can't get into the starting 11, and some people believe he's the best striker at Rangers. Obviously, he did have that injury, but if you want to get him up to speed for the Celtic game, then you would maybe start him tonight, but maybe he'll get a cameo and then he comes into the starting 11 for that game on Saturday. But and then for St Mirren, I think they usually do perform better against the teams like Rangers that are wanting to be ball dominant and commit a lot of bodies forward. I think that's why you've seen in the last couple of games that they don't get the ideal result that they would maybe like against Kilmarnock with only the point. And then should have probably, in my opinion, been 2 goals they got against Livingston, but it was only 1. So yeah, I think St Mirren will be a really close game, and it's hard to call. I'll just favour Rangers slightly, but I think it will be a close game, despite it being the best defence in the league via the low scorers, which someone pointed out to me the other day.
I mean, what I will say is Rangers haven't won consecutively since the beginning of November, I believe, when they beat Dundee and Livingston. So, they're not in exactly great form. They're sort of up and down.
I think something we do need to say a big credit for Rangers, though, Robbie, is I think since Danny Rowe's been at Rangers, they're top of the league in terms of points.
I'm more fearful we're going to play a Danny Rowe Rangers than I would normally be. I remember Robinson saying on Saturday after the game that he's never come up against Danny Rowe, so he's just treating that another game. But it definitely is a tougher opposition than we'd maybe get if it was a Russell Martin Rangers, in the dugout. So.
I think Russell Martin done a great job at Rangers. I think you've been about.
Aye, of course you say that with the green tinted glasses on, you know what I mean? I think every Celtic fan loved what Russell Martin done with Rangers, but no, I'm a slightly more fearful of playing a Danny Rowe Rangers, who, you're right, they seem to be getting the job done, they seem to be finding ways to win, which Rangers haven't really done in a while. So it's definitely not. I'm not saying it's going to be a walkover by any means, but I'm slightly confident that we can go there and at least get something at the game.
I think something funny we have to acknowledge, though, guys, is I think Russell Martin's going to get the job over at Wilfred Nancy's old club in America.
Yeah, it looks like that. I've seen that. It looks like that could be on the cards. Although he was linked with the Kilmarnock job as well. So yeah, I think Russell Martin's probably getting linked with every job at the minute after 2 unsuccessful managerial stints back to back at Rangers.
The only thing I would say on the actual one job in America is the actual the reporter that reported it is Alex Crook, who is Russell Martin's probably one of his best friends in football. So I would think he's probably got a really good line into what Russell Martin's thinking.
I'm sure Kilmarnock fans are buzzing.
Russell Martin's struggling for a job and his mate trying to do him a favour. You can look at it both ways.
True. That could be it.
No, that's his agent, maybe.
I've been looking for a job for a while. Michael still help me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, maybe next year or the year after, I'm not sure. But before we finish up, guys, let's talk about the other games as well. Focus on the big 2 tonight, Ibrox and Fir Park. All eyes will be on them ahead of Saturday's game, Ethan. But also, you've got another big game at Hibs and Aberdeen. That's going to be a cracking game, I think, especially because Hibs came off a brilliant win in the derby at the weekend. Aberdeen, I don't know if you saw that game on Saturday night, but I thought Aberdeen was pretty poor in kind of like large parts of the game.
Michael, we're
Yeah,
not doing
no.
score predictions.
What is it, Robbie?
I was just going to say we're not doing score predictions for the game at Ibrox.
Yep. So let me guess. Robbie's score prediction will be Rangers 5, Midland 6. No. So yeah, what's your score prediction for the game at Ibrox? Let's go to Reagan and keep Robbie last.
I'm going to go Rangers 2, St Mirren 1.
There we go. Ethan?
Yeah, I'm going same as Reagan. Rangers 2, St Mirren 1.
And I will go that just because I like to hold Robbie up sometimes. I will go I will go a 2-1 win for the Saints, because just think, Robbie, you can take positives, because the last time you were in Glasgow, you won the cup. So the next time you might win 3 points tonight. Robbie, what about you, mate?
Rangers 1, St Mirren 3.
Right.
He goes at Ibrox, I'll do you.
Nah, take that back up.
The game at Fir Park, Motherwell and Celtic, by the way, that's at 8 o'clock kickoff tonight. All the other games are 7:45. Robbie?
Yeah, what's the question, sorry?
Yeah. Are you on the right show, Robbie? Yeah.
No, you never asked a question. I was confused what you were saying.
No, I was just going to say Motherwell and Celtic, your prediction.
Oh, I said it earlier, I'll say it again. I'm going to go 3-1 to Motherwell.
Oh, 3-1 to Motherwell. Ethan?
Yeah, I went with 2-2. I went Motherwell 2, Celtic 2. 2-2 draw.
2-2. I must have been sleeping by the way when you said the scores. I was out this afternoon. Right enough, I was on soft drinks. Aye, right, yeah. Reagan?
And I went for Motherwell 2, Celtic 3. A Benjamin Negrin 3 goals for him. A wee hat trick.
And I will go 2-1 Celtic. So there you go, 2-1 Celtic tonight. So let's move on to the other games. Yeah, so I was saying earlier on, Ethan, that Hibs and Aberdeen, that's also going to be a cracking game. But also Hibs came off the back of that win in the derby. But I don't know about you, but I was a wee bit disappointed in Aberdeen. And when you watched the game in the Saturday night, the Aberdeen fans weren't too happy.
Yeah, they weren't, and I think it's been a similar story for both Hibs and Aberdeen. They'll want to be higher in the table. They'll want to have been really close to what you set out as the benchmark for the start of the season in that third place race. Everybody was putting their predictions in who they thought would come third out of Hearts, Hibs and Aberdeen, but now Hearts have obviously went astronomically clear of the other two, and now they're competing for what you could say maybe fourth or fifth, or maybe third, maybe second, maybe even first. I don't know. It's been a crazy season, but I think it could be massive for both teams tonight, although I think the inconsistencies of them both will remain. I can see it being a draw for whatever reason. I think even after Hibs' highest point of the season the other night, the other afternoon, against Hearts, I think they'll go back to their sort of old ways and be disappointing. And the same for Aberdeen. I can't see much between the two teams at the moment, and I think it'll be a draw. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw between the two teams.
Ooh. I will go 2-0 to the Highways tonight as well. Robbie, what about you in this one?
If the Edinburgh Derby win doesn't give you a boost, then I don't know what it's going to be honest with you. I'm going to also back Hibs to win. I'm going to go 3-2 to Hibs.
Oh, 3-2.
Reagan?
I'm going to go for a big win for Hibs tonight. I'm going to go for a 4-0 victory.
Oh.
Predictions are crazy on the night.
Yeah,
they were crazy the last time as well.
Let's go up to Dundee tonight. Dundee and Kilmarnock on this one. I think this is going to be a white. I know this
It's
is
going to be a cracker, Michael. It's going to be a cracker.
well. Yeah, okay. I'll go along with you, but I thought it's going to be a bit of a dull game.
Stephen Presley's been up all night dreaming, thinking about what's going to happen.
Yeah. So I think Reagan's going to go for a Kilmarnock one after that one. I think.
Possibly because my pal's the manager, but I think that Stephen Presley's done a very good job so far this season for Dundee. But I just think for me, Michael, I'm going to go for Dundee. I'm going to go Dundee 1, and Chris Dillon is going to get his first win, and they're going to win 2-1.
Robbie?
I'll agree with Regan. I think Dillon is going to pick up his first win. I'm going to go a pretty scrappy 1-0 Kilmarnock.
Oh, 1-0.
I'm going with the opposite. I think Dundee have been a lot better at home than they have been away from home this season, and I think they'll get another win off the back of the win the other day. I think Kilmarnock's struggles will continue. I'm going with a 2-1 win for Dundee. I don't think it'll be pretty either, but I think Dundee will get the job done, and Kilmarnock's misery will continue on the search for a new manager on a permanent basis.
2-0 to Kilmarnock. I'm going to keep Prescott doing happy because I know that Robbie spoke to him on Saturday. He gave him a backhander. It's written on the back. Gamble responsibly. And Reagan knows him as well, so I'm going to keep in his good books, and me and Ethan doesn't know him. Yeah. So there you go. What about Livy against Dundee United? I mean, do you think there's any positives Livingston to take out that first half performance against Celtic, or do you think it was because Celtic's defence was all over the shop, Ethan?
A bit of both, you would say, but you would say it's two good finishes from Christian Montaro.
See for that second goal, the second goal was a cracker.
Yeah, I think the second one was a cracker, you're right, but I think the first one was also a decent finish for a player that you would, I think, came into the league as probably a left back, if I remember correctly. Maybe move forward a little bit to left mid and whatever. But I think there is positives for Livingston to take. But then again, maybe I'm searching for positives for them. But I do think that they'll avoid defeat tonight. Actually, if I give my prediction away, I'm going to go with Livingston 0, Dundee United 0. I think Livingston will get a wee cheeky point at home.
I'll go for a 2-1 win to Robbie's best pal, John Goodwin. Seasons, greetings and all that. Robbie?
But I should just say, by the way, if you're Livingston, you're probably looking at a guy like Scott Arfield that's just got released for the World Cup, but that's a story for another day. Michael, we speak about in the show results that maybe the players you sort of look at and you go, they've gave up on the manager, and I think the night might be the night. I'm going 4-0 Dundee United, and I think David Martin is going to get that.
Calm
down, Robbie. Calm down.
I can't wait to come back and react to these predictions.
Livingston 1-0, David Martindale's job safe for another week. That's exactly what's going to happen. But no, I do think that curtains are closing. I think for Martindale, and I think he will get sacked.
Really? I don't think so. I think
any other manager with 15 games without a win, surely you've got to get sacked at some point.
But David Martindale has missed Livingston, and I know it can't go on forever, but he's the reason they're there. You hear the stories about him doing everything and around the club, and I know that's changed with the change in ownership, but I think the owners will respect and know what he's done for the football club. If they felt like he was underperforming with the squad that he's got, then obviously, and they think someone else can do better, then I'm sure they'll change, but I don't really see anyone out there. I think Livingston have got one of the poorest squads in the league, and I think it was always going to be a struggle for them. But you're right. They do need to pick up a win soon because I imagine it's getting pretty. It's getting very difficult to watch for the Livingston fans. I think the last win was the second league game of the season, wasn't it, against Falkirk at home, which was a long time ago in August. So, yeah, maybe a late Christmas present for Livingston would be 3 points, or a celebration gift for New Year's Eve. I think they'll take anything at the minute. But I think they will get a point tonight, and I'll be maybe slightly optimistic about the year of 2026.
Regan, I'm just going to say to people that the first time we were on the show, I think you said David Martindale. By the way, I'm going to remind you this every week, by the way. It's going to be funny. But Regan was the first one. I think you were on the show 2 weeks and you were saying David Martindale was going to get the sack. But that was like 2 seasons ago. And they got Livingston. So.
That was about 4 seasons ago. He's still here.
Yeah.
I mean, he's statistically doing worse than the season when they did get relegated. I mean, I'd be interested to know if you took the lineup for the season they got relegated and put it up against the lineup they had to now, who would win? Because, we all came on the show, Michael, during the summer and said Livingston have done a lot of good recruitment. They've brought in a lot of players. So I'm just so intrigued the way it's all went wrong for them.
Regan, what about you? What's your prediction tonight?
I think the thing for me is I would probably be saying that they're going to get beat as well. But I've seen enough on Saturday. I don't know if you agree, Ethan, but I thought they could have scored about 4 or 5 goals against Celtic. So I'm going to say they're going to nick it 1-0.
I don't know about 4 or 5 goals, but they certainly maybe could have had another one on top of the 2 that they did score. I think they were maybe struggling to create chances after the early stages. Although Celtic still looked very fragile. Yeah, and I think Dundee United will look on a par, if not more fragile. Obviously, defensive records you can't go off them too much because Celtic have had 3 different managers, and the one you would say at the minute is clearly sets his team up to be the least defensive of all 3 of them. So, yeah, I think Livingston will get chances tonight against Dundee United. It's whether they have the players to take them because the Montano goals were excellent finishes, and they've just got they've got to be clinical tonight, I think, to win that game. But I think there could be an upset on the cards, possibly. And I think any Livingston winner is an upset at this rate. But I'm going to go with a draw.
See, on your point, Robbie, in terms of new ownership, that might be a good point because new owners like to change up the managers. And if they're not going to any reward, I know you're saying that Ethan that he's missed a Livingston and stuff like that. But I mean, how long does that go on for?
I don't imagine when Ethan was talking about the new owners, I don't imagine the new owners are going to want to come in and get instantly get relegated with the team. I think they're probably going to get into this January period, reassess the situation and make a decision. But also, Michael, if I can just quickly mention with the team news at Ibrox, something that we didn't really touch on earlier, Mark O'Hara's injured again. He's nowhere to be seen in the squad. I don't know if that's going to get worse. I know he did have a few minutes at the weekend against Kilmarnock, so I'm hoping that's not anything too serious, to be honest with you, and it's just sort of precautionary that he's at the team. But that is something I noticed for the bench.
Yeah. So we'll be back at 10 o'clock. Don't forget, we'll be looking for your best moments of this year, and we'll be talking about the games that we've wonderful predicted again and got horribly wrong as well. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the channel and you can keep up to date with all the interviews as well. Robbie's interviews and Regan's interviews as well at the weekend, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let's go to Football Zone. So Ethan, Robbie and Regan will be back for the back shift at 10 o'clock after tonight's games. And yes, enjoy your last set of games of the year.
You're watching the Scottish Football Zone with all the build-up and reactions.